What's up, YouTube? Timmy's here. Now, with Superman out this week, one actor who is also featured is this actor named Skyler Gisondo, whose name you might not really recognize, but he has been some really cool roles over the years. Like, on the TV front, he was on that show Santa Clara Diet, which, why Netflix canceled that, beyond me. But on the movie front, I mean, the guy went from playing the likes of Tommy Doyle to playing, like, young Mo Howard. I mean, he's been some really cool stuff. He played Gwen Stacy's brother and stuff. I mean, he's had some really good roles. So, here is my official top 10 favorite Skyler Gisondo movies. Alright. Number 10 is more of a smaller role, but he played a young John C. Reilly. And it's a really awesome one. And that is Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. If you guys don't know much about it, it's a mockumentary that parodies music biopics following Dewey Cox, a fictional rock star, through his rise and fall. Younger version of Dewey, showing his early musical talent and tragic backstory. Gazando's brief role is very comically accurate, rated, fitting the film's tone. He's really good at playing the young Dewey Cox. He really buys the young. You could definitely buy him as a young John C. Reilly. He really plays the part very well. This was also around the time that he also played Tommy Doyle at 2, which I'll get to that here in a bit. But yeah, I mean, he really showed, the kid's been acting since, I think he was, 5 or whatever. I mean, he even had, a couple of stints on, Drake and Josh or whatever. And this was, one of his earlier, films he did, so. Alright. Coming in at number 9 is The Binge. I wasn't actually big with the sequel, to be honest with you. It's a wonderful binge that wasn't so good. But The Binge was a movie that came out all the way back in 2020 when, the pandemic was raging and all. And The Binge is a really interesting has an interesting little premise. It takes place in the near future where alcohol and drugs are banned except for one day here. Very similar to, let's say, The Purge. And Skyler plays one of the characters who's a shy, love-struck teen playing the ultimate binge party. He doesn't return for the sequel or whatever. But the first film is a lot of fun. It is really hilarious. You also had Vince Vaughn, Adaro Franco, some really good cast members. It really has a little bit of a mini Hangover vibe here. It's a really well worth a watch. Alright. Coming in at number 8 is another film that actually has John C. Reilly in it, by the way. Licorice Pizza. Directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. You have Skyler Gisondo, who plays Alana Hames' boyfriend, who's a cocky but insurance insecure actor here. Obviously, of course, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, starring Alana Haim, Bradley Cooper. John C. Reilly appeared in this as well. I mean, his part in this as Alana's boyfriend was pretty solid to watch. They really, did play off each other very well. I mean, it's a really decent little film worth giving a go. Alright. Coming in at number 7 is The Three Stooges. Now, he's only in it towards, the beginning. He actually plays the younger version of Mo Howard. And I love that Three Stooges. It did not really get the best reception at the time, which makes sense. Not many people were really into seeing, a new version of the Three Stooges and stuff. But I so wholly enjoyed that Three Stooges. Directed by the Farrelly brothers. The adult versions are played by Chris Demopoulos as the older Mo, Sean Hayes as Larry, Will Sasso as Curly. The younger version of Curly, by the way, is played by the kid who played Raleigh from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. He plays the younger version of Curly. And his scene, in the beginning of Three Stooges is really hilarious. He really felt like a very younger version of Mo. Say what you want about the movie in general, the casting was top-notch. And yeah, I really quite enjoyed The Three Stooges a lot. And still bars me we never got to see a sequel, but. Alright. Actually, it also makes me want to see, a young Three Stooges. They were supposed to talk about doing a young Three Stooges years ago. Even at CinemaCon, there was, a poster for it and whatever. I have no idea whatever happened to that one, but anyway. Number 6 is The Amazing Spiderman. Now, she actually played, the younger version of, she actually played, Gwen's younger brother. who doesn't really have much to do here, but he does like have bring some support vibe here. He is like very. You can definitely tell he is a fan of Spider-Man and all. And of course, I actually thought he would have been a really good Spider-Man down the line. He definitely like even back then he definitely had like the Peter Parker look. Like around when let's say Tom Holland was like Tom Holland Spider-Man was coming and they were rebooting the MCU, and I did my list of actors I would love to have seen play Peter Parker. I admit Skyler Gisondo was actually on the top of that list. I think he would have been maybe not as good as let's say Tom Holland, but I think he could have easily been a good Peter Parker in the MCU. But hey, at least he's in the DCU, so there's that. All right. Coming in at number 5 is Rob Zombie's Halloween, and I always forget that he was in this. I remember like I've seen Halloween a couple times. I did not even knew that was Skyler, the same kid from Santa Clara Diet. And of course, he plays Tommy Doyle, who, of course, the character has been portrayed by in recent time, has been portrayed by the likes of Paul Rudd, most recent Anthony Michael Hall and stuff. And I really like this like little chemistry with Laurie Strode and the actress who played a young forgot the little girl's name. What's the Tammy Lynn? I was keep forgetting the little girl's name, but still, Skyler does really play this part very well, and it's such a shame we never really got to see him come back for Halloween 2 or even another Halloween and whatever. But it is what it is, I guess. All right. Coming in at number 4 is Night at the Museum: Secret of the Tomb. Now, of course, this movie actually has Skyler playing Ben Stiller's son, who I can't remember the actor who played Ben Stiller's son in like the first Night at the Museum, but obviously they didn't really want to get that kid back, so they got so they decided to get recast him with someone else. But hey, I still quite liked his little part as as Larry's teen son. He really as Nick Daly would have been cool to see remember Disney Plus did that Night at the Museum animated one. I really think it would have been cool if they did like a spin-off featuring Skyler's character. Sadly, probably wouldn't have been the same without Robin Williams. But I still remember because this movie came out August, about 4 months after the passing of Robin Williams, and I still remember that scene where Robin Williams' Teddy was waving to the camera. Not gonna lie, that really got me because it really felt like he was saying goodbye to the fans. But still, as for Skyler, he was still really solid here. Really played the heart of the action very well, and really good performance. Alright, number 3 is Vacation. Another movie that not many people really liked as much, but I quite enjoyed that Vacation movie. It's of course was the follow-up to the Vacation films. And of course it had Skyler playing Rusty's son, who's very awkward and all. But I really quite liked his scenes, especially with his brother, played by Steele Stebbins. There was a funny scene where he's trying to play fight with his little brother, which really cracks me up. I mean, I actually just rewatched this recently on True TV, and he was actually pretty good. Definitely had he definitely even had a little bit of the Anthony Michael Hall vibe. Which is also funny that he technically plays 2 characters that is associated with Anthony Michael Hall too. Because remember, he played Tommy Doyle in the Halloween movie. Later on, Tommy Doyle will go on to be portrayed by Anthony Michael Hall in Halloween Kills. And here he, of course, plays the son of Rusty Griswold, who, by the way, Anthony Michael Hall played Rusty in the original Vacation. So, he always did have a little bit of an Anthony Michael Hall feel to it. If you ever look down, the younger days and whatever, he definitely has a little bit of an Anthony Michael Hall vibe. But anyway, so Vacation, Ed Helms, Christina Ricci, you had Chevy Chase appearing in this. Again, it did not get the reviews were awful. Probably no one really liked it, but I'm one of the rare folks who really quite enjoyed Vacation. Alright. Coming in at number 2 is Booksmart. Booksmart is actually a really fun little comedy. Of course, directed by Olivia Wilde, starring Skyler, who plays this wealthy, over Edgar classmate who chose a lavish party here. He has a really fun comedic release here. Of course, Kate Dever was great. Beanie Feldstein, Billy Lloyd. It's a really good film. Really hard, hilarious. Go watch Booksmart. And my number one favorite film with Skyler is this little film probably no one even heard of. It's a movie titled Feast of the Seven Fishes. Okay, you're probably asking yourself, what the heck is that? I actually saw this movie in theaters, like at Cinema Village, back in 2019, in November 2019. And it's a really nice little film. For one, definitely holds a little place in my heart because it's about a Talon family, and well, I'm a Talon. And you had the likes of Madison Eisman, Andrew Schultz, Nancy DeMeo, some really decent players here and there. It's set in, oh yeah, I think Danny Aiello was also in this too. He was actually, I think this was like one of his last films he did before he passed. It takes place in 1983 in a small Italian American town, and it's a holiday comedy that follows like the Lovario family preparing for their traditional Christmas Eve, and Tony, played by Skyler Gisondo, who I think he is Italian in real life, for not mis- like Gizondo's definitely an Italian name, but anyway, he's very sensitive, aspiring artist. Beth, played by Madison Eisman, is his love interest. It is a really nice little film worth checking out. Great performances by Skyler, by some of the other cast members. Definitely well worth a watch. But that's, of course, pretty much it there. Here, let me do the quick rundown. 10, Walk Hard. 9, The Binge. 8, Licorice Pizza. 7, The Three Stooges. 6, The Amazing Spiderman. 5, Halloween. 4, Night Museum, Secret of the Tomb. 3, Vacation. 2, Booksmart. And number 1 is Feast of the Seven Fishes. Now, he said some other stuff too here and there. On the TV front, again, Santa Clarita Diet, Everybody Loves Raymond he was on, Monk, Cold Case, House, Bill Engvall's show, on the movie front, The Stalling, which was a Netflix film. I mean, he said some really great stuff, but let me ask you guys, what are some of your favorite films with Skyler Gisondo? Drop comments below. What's some of your favorite TV roles of his too? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Henry Signer.